Imagine working for one of the wealthiest families in the world, thinking everything is perfect until you overhear something that could change their lives forever. Secrets, danger, and a trip that could destroy everything they've built. What if one simple warning could save a billionaire's life? Stick around because the truth is darker than you can imagine. Trust me, you won't miss this. Did you hear what she said? The question lingered in the room, a seed planted in Anna's mind that would soon grow into a storm of questions. This moment would mark the beginning of something she could never have predicted. Anna, in her late 20s, had been working as a maid for the Morgan family for more than 2 years. The Morgans were a powerful and wealthy family, their names spoken with reverence in circles of the elite. They lived in a sprawling mansion perched on the hills, their lives filled with luxury beyond anything Anna had ever known. She had seen the grand galas, the private jets, the diamonds, yet, despite being close to it all, she always felt like an outsider. The high society was a world she could only observe from afar, a mere maid in a palace of glitter. On this particular morning, Anna was busy carrying out her usual duties. She moved through the mansion's vast library, carefully dusting the rows of pristine, antique books. It was a routine task, one she had done countless times, with the soft hum of the charity gala preparations in the background. But something was different. But something was different. As she pushed her cleaning trolley past the grand oak door to the study, she overheard a snippet of conversation between Richard Morgan and his wife, Veronica. Her ears immediately perked. Inside, Richard's voice sounded tense, while Veronica spoke in a language Anna didn't understand. The words flowed in a strange, melodic rhythm, certainly not English or Spanish. Russian? And a thought, her mind racing. She had never heard Veronica speak this way before. She caught the words trip, danger, and escape, and her heart began to race. What were the Morgans involved in? What was happening behind the lavish facade? Anna stood frozen, trying to make sense of the secrets that seemed to unravel before her very eyes. Anna knew she had crossed a line. She shouldn't have been eavesdropping, and she certainly shouldn't have been listening in on a private conversation. But something about the exchange between Richard and Veronica had piqued her curiosity beyond control. Her heart pounded as she repositioned herself near the door, trying to stay as silent as possible. Her instincts told her this was important, dangerously important. Richard's voice broke the silence again, now more strained than before. I don't care if it's a private matter, Veronica. We need to talk about this trip. It's too risky. We've had people tailing us for weeks now. His frustration was evident, but there was something else there, fear. Richard, the billionaire businessman, was afraid. That thought alone shook Anna. The Morgans had always seemed so perfect, their lives nothing but endless parties and wealth, a far cry from the world and anew. But now, she was hearing something that made her rethink everything. Veronica's response came in a rapid, sharp tone, her words in Russian slicing through the tension in the room. You don't understand. I have to go. It's too important. There was no room for argument in her voice. It was cold, calculated, and final. Anna could feel the chill in the air, her mind racing with questions. What was this trip? What danger were the Morgans in? Veronica's coldness, combined with the mention of a trip and people tailing them, only deepened Anna's suspicion. There was more to this family's perfect life than she had ever imagined, and she had just uncovered a piece of it. But how deep did it go? What was the real story? Anna needed to know. Later that evening, the weight of the conversation Anna had overheard still gnawed at her, making it impossible to focus on her work. As she served the dinner, her eyes occasionally flicked toward Veronica, who sat elegantly at the table, sipping her wine. Veronica's calm demeanor hadn't changed. Her perfect composure remained intact, but Anna could sense something in her eyes, something that wasn't quite right. It was subtle, a fleeting shadow of fear or uncertainty, but it was enough to send a chill down Anna's spine. Richard had already left for a business meeting, leaving Veronica to dine alone in silence. Anna knew she had to act, and soon. Her heart raced as she approached Veronica's seat, her hands slightly trembling, betraying the unease she was feeling. The elegant woman was lost in thought, but when Anna spoke, she was startled. "Excuse me, ma'am," Anna began, her voice faltering. Veronica's eyebrow arched, her cold gaze settling on the maid. Yes, Anna? What is it? Anna hesitated for a moment, but her resolve strengthened. I overheard you and Mr. Morgan talking about your trip, about some danger and people following you. Her words hung in the air, laden with uncertainty, but she couldn't back down now. Veronica's expression shifted instantly. Her eyes darkened, and the warmth of the evening vanished as she studied Anna. For a brief second, there was a flicker of something, pity, anger, but then she spoke, her voice cold and commanding. You've heard too much. This is none of your business. The harshness of Veronica's tone made Anna take a step back, but she held her ground. I heard you speaking in Russian, Anna said quietly, watching Veronica's every move, trying to gauge her reaction. Veronica's face faltered for a brief second, a tiny hint of surprise in her eyes. Anna's voice lowered further. It sounded serious. I don't want to intrude, but is it safe? Is Mr. Morgan in danger? The air between them grew thicker, and Veronica stood up slowly, her posture stiffening as she looked down at Anna. You're right, she said softly, a dark weight in her voice. It's dangerous. But I have my reasons, Anna. My family has been involved in things you can't even imagine. Richard doesn't know everything. He never will. Her voice trailed off as she stared out the window, her face betraying no further emotion, and felt a cold shiver run down her spine as the mystery deepened, knowing that this conversation had only scratched the surface. Veronica's cryptic words echoed in Anna's mind, leaving her with a deep sense of unease that she couldn't shake. She didn't know exactly what the Morgans were involved in, but it was becoming clear that their lives weren't as perfect as they appeared. Behind the luxury, the galas, and the wealth, there was a darkness, something dangerous and hidden beneath the surface. Anna walked away from the encounter with a mixture of fear and uncertainty, unsure of what to make of the things she had heard. The next morning, as Richard Morgan prepared for his upcoming trip and watched him from a distance, the usual calmness in his demeanor seemed off. There was a tension in the air that even he couldn't hide. He was packing his briefcase, checking over his notes, all the while unaware of the secrets swirling around him. Anna's mind raced. She wanted to warn him, to tell him everything she had overheard, but she wasn't sure how. What could she say? Would he even believe her? As the day wore on, the atmosphere in the mansion became more charged. Richard was preparing for a meeting, and Veronica had mysteriously disappeared. The tension was palpable, and felt a weight in her chest, something telling her that she couldn't let this go. With resolve, she sprinted to Richard's study. There, she quickly scribbled a note, her hands shaking as she wrote, "Be careful on your trip. Something isn't right. Please trust me." She left it on his desk, praying he would read it in time. She had done all she could. Now, it was up to Richard to decide if he would listen. Days passed, and Anna resumed her duties, though her mind remained consumed by the events she had witnessed. The Morgans' lives seemed more mysterious with each passing day, and the weight of what she had overheard continued to weigh heavily on her. She kept her distance, avoiding any direct contact with the family, unsure if she had done the right thing by intervening. But then, one evening, her phone rang, pulling her from her thoughts. It was Richard. Anna. His voice was steady, but there was an undercurrent of concern. I found your note. What did you mean? What danger are we in? Anna hesitated, her pulse quickening as she tried to find the right words. I don't know all the details, Mr. Morgan, but there are things I overheard that don't add up. I just want you to be cautious. Veronica, she has secrets, things you might not know. There was a long silence on the other end, and Anna could hear Richard's breath hitch. I understand, Anna. Thank you for your warning. I'll look into it. That night, Richard's plane took off, bound for a destination Anna hadn't been able to guess. But as the jet soared into the night, and couldn't shake the feeling that her warning had made a difference, she had unknowingly set in motion a series of events that would change the course of the Morgans' lives. In the end, Anna's quiet warning had revealed cracks in the seemingly perfect life of the Morgans. The secrets, the danger, and the truth about their world were slowly being uncovered. For Anna, a simple maid, it was a moment that would stay with her forever. She had been a part of something much bigger than she had ever imagined. The luxury, the lies, the danger, it all swirled around the Morgans, a family whose perfect facade was now beginning to crumble. As the dark secrets of the Morgans began to unravel, Anna's quiet warning became the catalyst for a chain of events that changed everything. But this story is far from over. Behind every perfect life lies a hidden truth, waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this gripping tale and want to hear more stories filled with mystery, suspense, and the unexpected, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. You don't want to miss what comes next, because you never know what secrets will be revealed next. Hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.